injury stuff you can let us know about from last night, Matthew or Anthony or anything like that?
Joel, George, the guys will come in for rehab here now in the next hour or two. The rest of the healthy guys will meet us at the plane, so we'll have more for you tomorrow.
Okay. And then now looking at this 3-1 deficit, teams have been in it before. Is it just more of the you can't win 3 games on Tuesday night, just look at one game kind of thing?
Yeah, you draw on your routine from the last time, your last experience with it. There is there's in some ways an advantage to the team at times that's down 3-1 in terms of the freedom mentally that it can play with. At the same time, you're down 3-1 for a reason, so clearly the other team's been good. But we have some experience with this, and we'll draw on it.
Steve Wino, Associated Press.
Thanks, Chrissy. Hey, Paul, just following up on George's question about Matthew. You mentioned last night kind of trying to get whatever you can get out of him. He's a guy who seems like he's going to play throughout no matter what. What can you do kind of if he's in the lineup and maybe not 100% to kind of maximize what Matthew can do for you guys moving forward?
Just situational, right? There are players that will play just power play. There's guys that will stay on for offensive zone draws. There's different styles of center and winger that you can play with to kind of put them in a position to be good at what they can be good at.
Matt Kubetta, NHL.com.
Good morning, Coach. Just how important are these 2 days off for you guys to, have a chance to take a breath and reset before game 5, and obviously, like you just talked about, get some rest for some of the players that are banged up?
Yeah, you know what? It's more important to get rest for the players that aren't banged up because they're going to have to drive this thing. Every team's got injuries at this time of year. But your healthy men drive the bus now. The injured guys have probably been dealing with it for a while. They know what they can get away with, but you're going to run when you get later into a series. Certainly in our situation, you're not going to leave Barkov on the bench very much. So the guys that are feeling good, the 2 days will fill the tank for them.
Tracy Myers, NHL.com.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you for doing this. You talked a little bit last night about the blocked shots with Vegas, but in the third period, seemed like you guys were really able to break through. What were you able to do, and obviously, how much do you want to carry that into the start, especially?
Yeah, specific. So much of it's just speed based, being able to move quicker, attack with more of a singular mindset of what you're doing, so you have a better idea where the puck's going to be. That's the big thing. I mean, we got 30 shots blocked last night, so we put up a fair number of shot attempts in that game that didn't get to the net between miss and block. And that's when you want to talk about generating more offense, that's the place. You're not going to get a scheme that allows far more odd man rushes, or you're going to loosen the game up. You just got to get the offense that we have, and that's an awful lot of shot attempts. So we've got to find a way to get to their tender and in those scoring areas.
We'll take 2 more. Go to Corey Hirsch.
Hi, Coach. I know you've talked a little bit about what you've liked about Lundell and Barkov. Obviously, they generated a lot last night. Do you expect to keep them together in Game 5? And again, what so much do you like about kind of them playing together?
Well, over the course of the year, we've used that. You go back to a time in January where we were struggling a little bit. Those 2 guys went together along with Sam Reinhart and were good together. There's a chemistry between Lundell and Barkov for sure. The limiting factor then is you lose one of your centermen to do that, and that's the challenge. So in terms of plans for next game, we'll have to assess where we are with the rest of our lineup. You can't make that decision in isolation.
Colby Guy, Florida Hockey Now.
Hey, Coach, just to kind of piggyback off that, to have Anton Lundell, this 21-year-old kid, be able to play that style of game in the Stanley Cup final after a development you said kind of took on the form of what the team did in January. What does that say about him as a player and where he's at in his development right now?
Well, really pleased with where he's at in his development. We just think he's covered so much ground or ice this year in terms of style of play and rounding his game out. And I don't know what the ceiling is for this young man. Like he he's going to at some point in a lot of ways be like Alex, that you'll be able to play him against the other team's best. He was a point producer as a younger player, and again, he's only in his second year, and he scored last year. But there's a difference in terms of being able to generate offense in the 3-hole than generate offense against the best players in the world. So we see that in him. For such a young man to be able to play 2 months of hockey that you can't describe to somebody, you can't explain to a young player the rigors of playoff hockey. They have to experience it, and in the best way, they experience it round after round. It's not just 2 weeks and you're done, or you get to the second round, you get swept. It's the physical toll, the mental toll of what 2 months of playoff hockey will do to you. It's invaluable for those young guys. You never have to explain it to them again.